have wanted to see and which we can now demonstrate not just through our own words, but through the actual performance that customers have seen using real hardware in real environments. What I'd like to do now is invite one of our customers to come up and join me on stage. Joe Mohen is CEO of Election.com, a very interesting company that has built its solution on compact hardware and Windows 2000, and we're going to have a chance to talk with Joe about what they've done. Welcome.
Thanks, Steve. Good to be here.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
I think it probably makes sense, just before we get started, for you to tell people what is Election.com.
Well, Steve, Election.com is a global internet election services company. We conduct elections for public and private sector clients all over the world. In March, we made history by conducting the Arizona Democratic primary on the internet, the first legally binding election on the web in the world.
That's great.
We're conducting elections now for ICANN, the United Nations employees, the United Kingdom Labour Party. On Sunday, we did an election in the city of Brest, France. And we recently registered over 400,000 Americans to vote through our website. And I know you don't travel much, but if you happen to be traveling on election day, you and your 200 million compatriots can get your absentee ballot applications through our website.
Really? I can vote electronically?
You can get your absentee ballot application through our website today, as all other Americans can as well.
I guess elections is kind of a peak load problem. You don't vote every day, you vote and you get stopped with that. Is that right?
That sure is right. When we went to the Windows 2000 and compact platforms, the key choices in that decision were, first of all, scalability. Elections can be for as little as a few hundred voters to the many, many millions. We have to be able to handle online scalability requirements because voter turnout is unpredictable, and furthermore, voter traffic is very hard to gauge. It can peak load like that. The second factor for us was reliability. You cannot say to an electorate, we're going to push back the elections from November 7th to November 14th because we have technical problems. Elections have to work. It's as simple as that. Another factor, of course, is security. For Election.com, this is paramount. Our customers' key requirement is that we keep the ballots secret and that the election results are secure. With Windows 2000 and the compact solution, we feel our security solution is bulletproof. And of course, the other reason is that by doing this event, we might be able to get tickets to InSync.
Should we take a look at your site here briefly, Garth?
Hi guys, thanks. Now what we wanted to showcase today was a system built on Windows 2000 Data Center and compact servers and storage that can handle the needs of the most demanding applications on the internet today, like Election.com. Now what I want to do is take a look at some of this pretty hardware. This is really the star of today's demo. This is a modern data center architecture that combines the benefits of both scale-up and scale-out computing. What we're looking at here is a compact ML770. This is a mainframe class server. We got 32 processors on board, 32 gigabytes of memory. This thing is running Windows 2000 Data Center and SQL Server 2000. Moving over to the left, we've got 4 compact ProLiant 8500Rs. Now these are 8-way processors each. We got 4 of them, and these are what we're using to actually generate the load against that back end. We actually need some pretty big muscle to stress that back end server. Moving over, we have a rack of compact DL360 web blades. Now this represents the best of high-density, scale-out computing. Each of these guys has 2 processors in them. We can fit 42 of them in a standard rack. Now these guys handle our incoming web traffic, and we have an enormous amount of horsepower in a very small footprint. And then finally, we have a compact EMA 12000 storage works. This is attached to our back-end SQL server. In this cabinet today, we have over 2.4 terabytes of storage to handle this online election. So let's take a look at what we did. Now, last night, we ran a simulation of a United States presidential election using Election.com software. Now, what we did is we ran a 15-hour long-haul stress test to simulate polling opening in the east and then closing in the west. And as the votes progress, you can see each of the counties filing their returns and turning red.
You know, Garth, it's important to note, too, that this is not just simulation software. This is the real production solution that was used to run an election in the city of Brest, France on Sunday, and it's the same solution we're using to conduct the Youth eVote mock presidential election. We expect about 10 million K-12 students in the United States to vote in that mock election in October.
Great. And we didn't want to sit here and make you guys watch an entire 15 hours of demo, so what we did instead was we have this time-lapse photograph here showing you the summary results. Now, last night we were able to get over 300 million voters through the system. Now, to put that in context, that's larger than the population of the United States today, and that's over 3 times the turnout we had in the '96 presidential election. So let's actually take a look at the Election.com software. Now, I'm going to log on here. See, I'm using a password. This is very secure. And we're not actually voting for any of the actual year 2000 candidates, but I'm going to go with Thomas Jefferson, always one of my favorites. And I'm going to go ahead and confirm my vote. Now, that's a deceptively simple user experience.
Yeah, the UI for an election might be just point-click on the candidate or the party or the issue you're voting on. But under the covers, this is one of the more complex transactions you can imagine. There's cascaded multiple levels of encryption, there's multiple databases being synchronized, and there's massive voter authentication, as you can imagine, for 300 million votes. So this is one of the more complex transactions you can envision under the covers, much more complex than e-commerce.
So let's take a look at what's actually going on in the back end. What we're looking at here is a system that's showing us the live performance of that back-end ML770. And you can see we're only stressing about 8 to 10 of the CPUs right now, and we're getting about 3,000 votes per second. Now, before we can put this through its paces, we need to configure the web front end. Now, using the scale-out approach, one of the benefits we like to talk about is on-demand scalability. When you need additional capacity, you can simply plug a new server into your cluster, and you can get that capacity really quickly. Now, I'm using a product called Application Center 2000, which makes it very easy for me to manage that cluster through a single application image. Now, I want to add a new machine to my cluster to get some additional capacity.
So you're bringing another one of these racks of application servers online right now.
Right, so we've got one of these here. It's not actually involved in the system right now, but what I want to do is incorporate it into the load balancing and have that start serving load right away.
This is the kind of scale-out feature you get in the Windows environment that you don't get in some of the
our
proprietary
computing
Unix
environments. Right.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it is we're using standard high-volume hardware to achieve really mainframe class scale. Now, as I step through this, I'm not going to make you watch this for all 42 servers, but what Application Center does is it's automatically going to copy over all of the system settings. It's going to move Election.com, the components and the configuration over, and it's going to recalibrate the load balancing so that machine is immediately going to start doing some load. So now we can actually start stressing this system out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start increasing the load, and you're going to see three things as this happens. First of all, we have additional processors that are going to come on load as the transaction volume increases. Second of all, our overall throughput is going to increase to between 6,000 and 7,000 votes per second, which is more than sufficient to handle a US presidential election. And then finally, and probably most important, is even at peak load, you'll notice that we're only using about 50% of the capacity of the system. It's really important to have headroom to accommodate periods of peak load in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we've shown you here is using standard high-volume hardware with a compact platform, servers and storage, and Windows 2000 data center. We have the platform to scale the largest applications on the internet today and in the future.
That's true. And talking about the future, Garth, the Gartner Group predicts that by 2004, many states in the United States will be offering their citizens online voting. This solution gives us the scalability that we need at Election.com to change the world.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Joe.
Thanks, Steve.